From city-level ice storms in a heartbeat to wiping someone out of existence before they can blink, these are the strongest quirks in My Hero Academia, and we're starting at the bottom of the list to see just how far the powers climb. Coming in at number 10 is Creation. Unlike an honorable mention, Dark Shadow, which depends on darkness or emotional control to reach full strength, Momo Yayorozu doesn't have to wait for conditions to be right. She creates her own advantage using knowledge, preparation, and energy stored in her body. She can produce any non-living object she understands at a molecular level or mechanical level, and this includes rifles, cannons, shields, medical kits, and even explosives, all perfectly ready to use. Her quirk is also energy conscious. She can't produce unlimited objects without planning, so she must prioritize as what she creates, which adds a strategic layer to her fights. A calm, well-fed Momo with just a few minutes of preparation can equip an entire squad, destroy buildings with carefully placed bombs, or deploy a device capable of leveling a city block. This creativity makes her effective in ways Dark Shadow can't match, especially in daylight or chaotic situations. For example, she could turn a classroom into a defensive maze, complete with automated barriers and traps to slow down opponents while her team regroups. The combination of planning, adaptability, and tactical thinking makes her quirk deadly in both offensive and defensive situations, showing that even a single user can have battlefield-level impact. At number 9 sits Half Cold, Half Hot. Much like Creation turns knowledge and energy into objects, Shoto Todoroki transforms his body into extreme elements, giving him immediate and flexible power. While Momo needs time to prepare, Todoroki acts the moment he decides to move, and that makes him extremely reactive in battle. His right side creates ice strong enough to freeze entire stadiums or bury streets under thick glaciers, and his left side releases fire hot enough to melt steel in seconds. Most elemental quirks drain their users fast, but Todoroki can hold both extremes in his body without losing control. This lets him fight for a long time without freezing up or overheating. This control preserves his stamina and lets him shape the battlefield in creative ways. He can build ice walls to protect himself, shoot ice spikes to trap enemies, or shoot fire to make holes in the ground. Todoroki's combination attacks make him even more flexible. He can stop strong attacks like Dabi's blue flames, which are almost 2,000 degrees Celsius, by combining fire and ice into one strike. He can deal with more than one threat at a time because he can attack and defend at the same time. Another thing that makes his quirk strong is it lets him control the environment. This makes him dangerous against groups or bigger threats, and with his adaptability, long-lasting stamina, and the way he mixes both elements, Todoroki can control almost any fight he walks into. This makes him one of the most versatile and dangerous heroes in the series. Sliding into number 8 is Double. While Todoroki manipulates elements and Momo creates tools, Jim Bubaiguara, or Twice, manipulates multiplication. He turns strategy into overwhelming numbers. 1 clone becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and this process can continue indefinitely. Each clone has the original's full power, memories, and quirks. They act independently and intelligently. Todoroki can only fight with his own body, and Momo needs to get ready first, but Twice can instantly fill the battlefield with a lot of copies of himself, and a small fight can quickly turn into a huge battle. Toga's awakened transform and Twice's clones are perfect copies of every hero and villain. They worked together perfectly and took over the battlefield. Therefore, while Todoroki and Momo are powerful individually, Twice's exponential multiplication makes him almost unstoppable, placing him higher on the list. At number 7, we land on Erasure. Unlike Double, who floods the battlefield with bodies, Shota Aizawa floods it with silence. One stare can instantly shut off every quirk in his line of sight, including All for One, Shigaraki, Gigantomachia, and Star and Stripe. While Double dominates through numbers and Todoroki through elements, Erasure dominates by removing the very source of power. By shutting down an enemy's abilities before they can act, Aizawa can control the flow of a fight. During the Paranormal Liberation War, he teamed up with Hitoshi Monoma, who could copy quirks, and the effect lasted much longer. Together, they stripped away decades of stolen quirks from villains. This leveled the battlefield and gave heroes a real chance against what should have been overwhelming opponents. Coming in at number 6 is Decay. Much like Erasure stops power, Tomura Shigaraki's Decay destroys matter. While Erasure neutralizes opponents, Decay physically erases everything it touches. After Shigaraki's awakening, it can leap from one object to another, spreading almost without limit. A single touch can turn part of a city to dust, and he can decide who survives in the area. During the final war, one swipe of his hand leveled skyscrapers, highways, and countless heroes before they could react. Unlike quirks that need precise aiming or preparation, decay spreads automatically. Any contact triggers instant disintegration. This makes Shigaraki a touch-range planetary threat. Wherever he goes, destruction follows, and his physical enhancements make him almost impossible to stop. The combination of touch, spread, and selective targeting shows how simple contact, combined with awakened power, can make Decay one of the most dangerous quirks in the series. At number 5 stands Overhaul. Shigaraki's Decay destroys anything it touches. Kaichisaki, known as Overhaul, takes it further by completely reshaping matter. Overhaul can rebuild at the molecular level, and anything he touches can change instantly according to his will. Touch a person, they could turn into a red paste. Touch the ground, and walls, spikes, or barriers can rise to block or trap enemies. He can control both living and non-living things, which multiplies his impact, and the more he can reach, the more damage he can deal and support he can offer. This makes him a strong attacker and also a reliable defender. In battle, Overhaul can destroy groups of enemies, protect or heal allies, and reshape the environment to gain an advantage. The only reason he ever lost was an overwhelming team of heroes. The League and Ares Rewind joined forces against him. Left alone, he would have been a one-man disaster capable of total destruction wherever he went. At number 4, we have One for All. Unlike most quirks that focus on a single ability, it combines raw strength, speed, flight, precognition, and kinetic energy control in one user. Currently, Deku wields 120% output. He merges Gear Shift speed and Fajin's kinetic explosions, Black Whip's mobility and restraining power, Float's flight, Danger Sense's precognition, and Smokescreen's cover. With this power, he can punch hard enough to influence weather patterns, move faster than the eye can follow, and act with strategies shaped by 9 generations of accumulated experience. All of this is concentrated in a single human body, making him both incredibly strong and fragile. Timing, control, and precision are all critical. Combining multiple abilities with inherited wisdom makes One for All exceptionally versatile and deadly. Its effectiveness is still bound by the limits of its user, keeping it just short of the number 1 spot. Landing at number 3 is Rewind. One pulse from her horn rewinds a living body's biological clock, which means broken spines mend, lost limbs regrow, and even quirks can be undone. If she keeps rewinding, the target can return to a state before they ever existed, essentially erasing them from history. During the series, we saw her undo Overhaul's fused victims and heal decades of trauma on Deku in real time. Because her quirk works remotely and directly manipulates life, she can fix or erase without any fighting at all, giving her the power to change outcomes before a single attack occurs. Coming in at number 2 is New Order. With New Order, a single touch and a spoken command can control almost anything she names, whether it's alive or not, with only 2 rules active at the same time. She can turn air into a sharp blade, crush enemies through the ground, or give herself superhuman strength. The effect is instant and complete, limited only by her imagination and knowing the target. During the fight against completed Shigaraki, she stopped air cannons in mid-flight, turned his own regeneration against him, and carved a hole straight through his body, all just with words. If she had made one more clear command, she could have ended the war immediately. Unlike Rewind, which requires build-up into biological target, or Decay, which needs contact to spread, New Order works from a distance as soon as the command is spoken. This means she can reshape matter, control objects, or even change abstract concepts instantly. The only thing that ever stopped it was All for One, who stole the quirk before she could finish. Because she can act so fast and manipulate reality itself, a fully trained, bloodlusted New Order is like an instant checkmate. Reality becomes her weapon, which is why she earns the number 2 spot, second only to the quirk that can steal her power. And at number 1, still untouchable after everything, All for One. Right now, it sits in peak Shigaraki, complete regeneration, built-in decay, and dozens of stolen top-tier quirks like Rivet Slab, Air Cannon, Warping, Kinetic Booster, and more being added with every fight. All for One can also copy quirks from multiple users at once, combine them, and even enhance them beyond their original limits. His regeneration makes him nearly impossible to defeat physically, while his ability to use multiple quirks at once allows him to attack, defend, and support allies simultaneously. Until someone permanently kills the user and every backup copy, All for One remains untouchable and is the apex of quirk power and destruction in My Hero Academia. And that wraps up the list. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.